Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. Today I am joining in a collaboration hosted by Davine from Calm in the Chaos Homeschool and Shauna from Homegrown Homeschool. And in this collaboration today, we are talking all about some of our favorite homeschool supplies. If you are new here, hello, my name is Erin and I am a homeschooling mom to 3 kiddos, and we are located in Pennsylvania. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we are joining in a collaboration, so I will link a playlist down below that is full of other moms that will also be hopping on to talk about some of their favorite school supplies. So if you're interested in watching the rest of those, hop on down to the playlist link below. I will also post a link to Davine's channel and Shauna's channel as well. So go make sure you say hello to them and watch their videos. So thank you all for being here, and let's just jump right in. So today my list is full of just basic homeschool supplies. My sister-in-law's mother reached out to me at the beginning of the school year. My sister-in-law just started homeschooling for the first time this year, and her mom reached out to me at the beginning of the school year and asked me if I could provide her with a list of items or ideas of things that she could help supply my sister-in-law and her son with for their upcoming homeschool year. And so those are the items that I'm actually going to be sharing with you all today. Some are extremely basic, but I simply pulled that same list that I gave to her, and this would be a list that I would give to you if you asked me what were some necessary items for me to start homeschooling. So I have put together probably my top 10 for me as a homeschool mom. And then there's about 10-ish for the kids as well. Again, some of these are super basic. Some of them, actually one of them is a little bit pricier, but again, it's a necessary item. And I'll talk a little bit more about them as we go along. So I have linked most everything down below. Some of the items I have linked, or some of my items that I personally have used in these categories, are no longer available. I tend to use things for many years before they start to wear out. So some of the items that I currently use are no longer available, but I have tried to link as close as possible to the product down below. If you have any questions, please leave them down below and I will do my best to answer them. I also didn't include on this list some basics like paper, printer paper, lined paper, scissors. I did include some coloring supplies, which again, I'll talk about as I go along. But as far as paper and scissors, those are kind of things that you more than likely have laying around your home, regardless if you homeschool or not. I will actually, if I remember, I'll link my favorite pack of value basic scissors that I purchased from Amazon. I found a really good pack with a good price, and they're actually pretty good quality. And they come in multiple colors, so I just kind of put them in different places around the house. So we have a pair in multiple rooms. And if I remember, I'll link that down below. I did not include that on either of my list or the kids' list, but again, that is a necessary item as well. So anyway, let's jump right in. We'll start with my list, and I would say at the top of my list is the priciest thing I have on the list, and that would be my printer. Now, I went many years without a great printer. I had a printer that worked, but it used cartridges, and so I went through ink like crazy. I replaced cartridges all the time, and this is even before I printed off curriculum at home for myself. I was basically ordering the books already printed and having them mailed to me. Since I have gotten my nice printer, I purchase PDFs when possible to print off at home. And let me tell you, I have an Epson EcoTank ET3850 series, I believe is what it is. And it has transformed my printing world. I heard about them for many, many years. It took me a long time to ask for one. I was gifted one by my husband for Christmas 2 years ago, I believe it's been. And I'm telling you, it is 100% worth it. If you've heard that, it is very true. I think I've refilled my ink one time. I've probably gone through more black than anything else. But anyway, I'm going to link it down below. It is pricey, and I get that. And it is the highest price item on my list. But I'm telling you, it is a game changer, especially if you print off curriculum at home. So again, I'll link it down below. I have the Epson EcoTank 3850 series, and it is 100% worth it. Next up for me would be a three-hole binder punch. I use mine all the time. I use it for school supplies or school items. I use for my recipe book, and the kids are always using it as well to punch. We have a lot of binders and notebooks, and so they like to keep all their papers in their notebooks, and I will link down below the one that I found that's my favorite. I had a basic one that I think I got at Walmart and it ended up breaking. So I bought one probably about 6 or 7 months ago, and it is definitely a decent one to have. Not super expensive, but it can definitely handle a lot of papers at once. And the brand is Boss Stitch. So I will link that down below. I'm also going to include little pictures up top, just little pictures of each item as we go along, just so you can have a visual of what I'm referring to. Next up would be a laminator. I use my laminator quite often, and this is one of the items I was not able to find the exact model that I have. I do believe it's been discontinued. I'm not quite sure why, but last time I went to link it, I wasn't able to find it. So the one I have is an Amazon Basics brand. So I was able to find an Amazon Basics brand that I linked below. I'm assuming is the one that replaced the model that I have. So I will link that down below. But just keep in mind, I have not used the one that I linked. I just tried to find one that was comparable because I cannot find the one that I have any longer. I'm assuming they stopped making it. So a laminator is definitely on the top of my school supply list. And next up would be a paper cutter, like just a simple little cutter that you put your papers in and you pull the blade up and it slices in a straight line. I have had mine since art school, since about 2006. So we're talking almost 20 years. That's a really long time. And what's even crazier is that the blade that I have in mine I cannot get a replacement blade anymore. So that means that I have had that blade on it for at least 10 years and I'm still using it, which is probably why my cuts aren't super straight. They're kind of like, not that they're not straight, but they're sort of frayed. It actually is really pretty. It gives it like a vintagey look. But anyway, my blade has lasted a really long time on mine. I wasn't able to find the cutter that I actually own. And even I think when I went to look for replacement blades 5 years ago, I wasn't able to find it. So I've linked one that's comparable, very inexpensive, very affordable, but I use my paper cutter all the time. So that's definitely on the top of my list. And next up, I have a pencil sharpener, an electric pencil sharpener. This isn't one that I myself use very often, but it is one that I like to have handy that the kids can just come up and use whenever they need it. So I've linked the one that I own down below. Again, very affordable, very practical, nothing crazy exciting, but definitely on the top of my list. And next up, we have 3-ring binders. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, we use a lot of 3-ring binders. We use them here at home. I use them for my organization. The kids use them. We use them for co-op subjects, and it just helps to keep everything nice and organized. We use a lot of dividers inside the binders to keep everything in place and everything nice and organized. And up next, we have spiral notebooks. Again, we use these all around the house. I use them for my grocery lists. I use them for my to-do lists. My husband uses them at work. The kids use them for school. Easton uses them for his math scratch notebooks. We just have these all around the house, and they're really nice because they're not super expensive and you can get them in different colors if you want. And on the front, you can just mark what it's for. We use spiral notebooks a ton. And then the next two things I've linked are my favorite pens. These are Frixion erasable gel pens, and these are also a game changer. My kids also like to use these. They use pencils a lot, but they also like to use these, and I do allow them to because they are erasable. They are wonderful. You can get them in black, blue, and multiple colors. I have linked both options down below, and again, these are just wonderful, and you can also replace the ink inside when it wears out, which is also lovely. The last thing on my list are highlighters. I use highlighters all the time for different things, for marking things in certain books for the kids or marking things on my papers, things like that, but highlighters are definitely at the top of my list. Okay, so that's pretty much gonna wrap up all of my top supplies that I would recommend having on hand for a homeschool starter. Again, none of these things are things that you absolutely have to have to start homeschooling. You can start homeschooling if you have one pencil, one pair of scissors, no glue. You can make it work. But those were my top items that I would recommend and that I handed to a friend when they asked me for recommendations. And so next up, I'm just going to talk about things that I like to have for the kids. And these would be the top things that I would recommend to have on hand if you're in your first year of homeschooling, or you're looking to help a friend out and buy some things for them if they're just starting out. Number one that I would recommend on my list would be a book bag and a lunch bag. Now, we are homeschoolers, and so up until last year, we did not have book bags and we did not have lunch boxes because we did not join a co-op until last year. However, now that we are a part of a co-op, we do pack book bags every week, and they do pack their lunch boxes to take their snacks. So those are definitely handy things to have. You don't need them. And again, we didn't need them till last year, so you can totally get by without them. But it just makes books and notebooks much easier to carry when they're going off to their co-op classes. And then pencils, have lots of pencils. We like regular ones and we like the mechanical ones. The mechanical ones that I prefer are the Bic triangular ones. And I prefer those in the earlier years. Now, my oldest is in 6th grade, and so he has finally been able to upgrade to the skinny mechanical ones. But I've linked the Bic mechanical triangle ones down below because they are my favorite. And then crayons, markers, and we like the twistable colored pencils by Crayola. Crayola by far is my favorite art supply company. I feel like they will forever be my top favorite. So I have linked basic crayons, markers, and twistable Crayola colored pencils down below. Erasers. You definitely need to have erasers on hand for homeschooling. Absolutely, erasers are a necessity. Also, glue sticks. We do a lot of lap books. We do a lot of art projects, so we go through a ton of glue sticks. I seriously don't know how glue sticks disappear so quickly, but they really do. So just have a box on hand and you will be good to go. Also, watercolor paints are just one of those things that my kids, maybe it's just my kids, I'm not sure, but watercolors are such a popular thing. Eden, my youngest, will sit for hours and just watercolor paint. If I print out a coloring page and give her watercolor paint, she'll just sit there and she'll watercolor. So watercolors are definitely something nice to have on hand. And then also small notebooks and sketchbooks. My kids love to have tiny little notebooks to track their little notes, their drawings, their math scratch notes, whatever they need it for. They just like to have tiny little notebooks that are their own. And so we like to keep a couple of these on hand as well. And then another thing that has been really, really handy for us throughout the years are these clipboards that actually open up and have storage inside. So it has a little clip on the side and the compartment comes open and you can put pencils, colored pencils, extra paper, anything you might need on the go. You can stick right inside the clipboard, close it up, and then you have a nice hard surface to work on the go. We take these in the car, we take them on field trips and things like that. And I have had mine for a few years now, and these have really held up very, very well. And then 2 more things on my list for the kids. The next one is headphones. We also, Easton and Zoe, my oldest two, have AirPods that they use often, but Eden, my youngest, has these specific headphones, which she prefers. The AirPods are just not quite right for her ears yet because she's still tiny, but we love these headphones for her. And also for Easton and Zoe, they prefer headphones sometimes as well. And so these have held up and been very sturdy and worked very well for about a year now for us. Headphones are just nice if they're watching videos or audio of some sort and they all want to be in the same room. We always have headphones on because it's just too much noise. And so it's nice so they're not distracted. And it's also nice to keep just all of the audio noise at a minimum so everybody can work at the same time in a quiet place. And the last thing on my list is a very simple thing, but we use a ton and we love stickers. We keep tons of stickers on hand for reward charts, for fun, for water bottles, for craft projects. Sometimes I'll just grade their papers and I'll just put a little sticker on just for fun. But stickers are definitely something I would recommend. Even if you have a little one that you need to give them something to do, hand them some stickers and a piece of paper and just let them go at it. So those are my top school supplies that I would recommend if someone were to ask me the question, what are the top school supplies that I should start my first year with? That's what I would tell you. So there you have it. Hop on down below and check out the playlist I linked down below and say hello to Daveen and Shauna. I will link both of their channels down below. Thank you all for being here. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any other tips or anything that you would recommend that I maybe should check out, then please let me know below. We'll talk very soon. Bye.